at the Chopra Yoga Center for a very special ribbon-cutting day. Dr. Deepak Chopra with us, and I want to speak to you specifically about the 7 spiritual laws of success, which for many of us have changed our lives. Speak to the message of that and the pure potentiality.
Well, the 7 spiritual laws of success is based on a philosophical understanding that all of physical reality comes from a field of potential, that there are certain principles that operate that change the invisible into the visible, the unmanifest into the manifest, and that you can apply these principles to anything in nature, from a stomach cell or a heart cell or the flight of a bird or a dancing star. And so those 7 laws are law of pure potentiality. Everything begins as potential in the field of infinite possibilities. The law of giving and receiving, which is the circulation in the cosmos. The law of karma, cause and effect, a physical principle. The law of least effort, which is difficult for people to understand, that the present moment is as is because the whole universe is as is. So accepting the present moment as it is, not how you think it should be, otherwise you're struggling against the universe. Accepting, taking responsibility to how you choose to react to it, and giving up being right. So that is the law of least effort. The law of intention. In every intention there is the mechanics for the manifestation of the intention. Just like in every seed, there's the promise of thousands of forests. The law of detachment. If you really want something in the physical universe, let it go. Otherwise, holding on to anything is like holding on to your breath. You'll start to suffocate. And finally, the law of dharma. You have a unique purpose, find it, and you'll be free if you find your purpose. That's it. It's very simple. As I said, these are natural laws.
There's simple teachings, but there are practical directives within the book,
right,
which I think are so important, because it's not self-help, it's self-changing or finding yourself.
Yeah, finding yourself. Personal growth, yeah.
Personal growth, and that now is growing for you here in Vancouver with your yoga studio, your first ever Chopra Center.
Yes, we've decided, and this was a while ago, we wrote this other book, me and my partner David Simon, on the 7 spiritual laws of yoga, how you could in fact, through yoga practices, including the physical practices of yoga, anchor yourself to these 7 laws. And we find that people who practice yoga in this way actually find that their spiritual evolution or the consciousness evolution of their consciousness begins to accelerate even more.
I find it really interesting what you say about ancient laws and ancient rules and tradition. They are tried and tested, that's why they continue on, but they can also constrict or anchor if there is no evolution. Speak to that a little.
Well, you know, a culture has both aspects to it. Culture can be very securing, can give us a lot of security. There's a lot of wisdom in culture. There are a lot of cultural traditions that bring a lot of joy and enjoyment, but then culture can be confining because it limits you to a certain level of creativity. It doesn't allow you to break out of the box, so to speak. And that's why the new world, as it was, California, Vancouver, the Wild West, as when it began, that was in a way very liberating, because it was the traditional puritanical Europeans coming here who wanted to break out of the boundaries of conditioning. So I think you have to look at both aspects, you know, ancient wisdom, modern technology, ancient wisdom, but experimentation and innovation, they're part of our evolution. Evolution is like a spiral, you know, it includes, but it also transcends. So that's the way to look at it. Include the old, but also transcend the old.
Let's talk briefly, I know you have to go, but about the young children, your goals in terms of what you've been doing in the inner cities in New York, in the boroughs, and how you are bringing yoga and spirituality to the youngest of the next generation, if you will.
In the boroughs in New York, we started with Queens, but now it's all the 5 boroughs. We found that there was a lot of violence, and there were a lot of people working there to mitigate and curb this violence, who had been affected by the violence, a family member killed or a child lost to gun shots and things like that, lots of drug use as well. So I and Russell Simmons got together with some of these volunteer groups, and we started teaching meditation, also teaching yoga. We've just begun the program, and already we are seeing the decrease in violence, but also the enthusiasm of the kids, of the school teachers, of the families. I recently taught the hip-hop artist 50 Cent how to meditate, and he and I are doing a PSA for the kids to say that yoga is cool, meditation is cool.
Definitely making both very cool,
Well,
as if you weren't cool to begin with. Thank you very much, Doctor.